Good evening, everyone. This is the June 11th Shrewsbury Housing Authority meeting. Thank you for everyone here at Francis Gardens for having us here tonight. We always enjoy coming back here, and it's nice to see you folks. With that, we'll get going, okay?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for the May 19th meeting as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, treasurer's report. I'll get there. Here we are. Bank balances are
Pretty healthy.
as usual, healthy, right?
Yeah. Who's gonna look on me?
We're gonna be spending some money pretty quick here, I think. We've got some, we don't need a motion on the treasurer's report,
nope.
so we'll go right to the vendor accounting check register if you don't mind.
That's okay.
And do we have questions, comments, discussion on the vendor accounts and those checks, which are quite high? We're paying
Yeah, Mr.
$156,000 plus this month.
Yeah, just that on 19-120 elevator maintenance, keys removal from the elevator pit.
I had a question for that, yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
So when Shirley does the checks, the first line, she has to itemize everything. So on that check is routine maintenance for April and May, service for April and May, elevator consultant charge, and the keys that dropped. The
So-
keys that dropped are only $171 charge,
Okay.
but everything's combined.
And were the keys retrieval as a result of someone asking that they be retrieved?
Was it a tenant or was it a maintenance worker?
It was a tenant.
Do we have, I'm
Did we
sure
charge
do
them
we,
for that?
that was my question, do we have a policy?
Yes.
We do, okay, all right. I've never seen that before.
That's the first time I saw that. Any other questions?
Similar question, Mr. Chair, if I may. Locksmith
Sure.
services, about 10 down, 132.
2 sets of locks redone here at Francis Gardens. And on Gary's report, it has, I can't say the numbers, but it says install 2 new lever sets from Joseph's Lawn.
Common area or someone's house or something?
2 apartments.
Okay, all right. The board should know in the name of full transparency, 19142 was a repair to this device. We talked about it 2 times ago when I was here, just so everyone's aware of that,
Okay.
just to be completely transparent.
Okay, and I understand I will note that we don't have a microphone tonight, so if anybody can't hear us, let us know. We'll do our best, okay? Any other questions on this list?
I'll give you a motion if you like.
Go ahead, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay the check register in the amount of $156,388.57.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good, thank you. Now we go to the, we have the portability check register, which is this small one.
I make a motion that we pay 2 checks in the portability for $1291.80.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And then we have the landlord and tenant check register.
I'll make a motion that we pay the landlord and tenant check register, 124 checks in the amount of $112,858 even.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Payroll, I will make a motion that we approve the payroll for 5 weeks' pay as printed.
Second.
Bruce beat her to it.
It's all, that's a race up here, yeah, exactly.
All in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye, okay, very good. Now let's go to the vacancy report.
No vacancies.
No vacancies anywhere.
Vacancies.
Anywhere. Shrewsbury Towers as well, no vacancies anywhere at all.
And
Sorry.
this is for the month of June.
Right. Okay, Section 8 report?
Total leased up 173.
Good job.
Very
Nice
good,
work, Kelly.
excellent. And then we go to the social services report, which is a little bit higher than normal.
And I believe that's because Shirley's been at different sites now. I believe you guys like her being here 2 days. Yes. And she's at Elizabeth Street 2 days, and she's at the Tower 1.
So it works out that she can split the time and you guys get to
Good.
deal with her.
Well, it works out because they can just come over, she's right in the office, and it's much easier for everybody.
Good, good.
Great.
Glad to hear it.
Is the office here in this building right
Yes,
there?
yes,
Okay,
right-
okay, all right.
Right outside, right.
I've never been in there, okay.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments about the social services report?
No, I'm glad to see that it's creeping up from what we called the new normal.
Yes, okay.
So maybe this is the newer normal.
Well, now it will be the newer normal, I think.
You were new.
Yeah.
Right, well, there was the 120, then there was the 30, now we're back up in the 40s. So.
Right.
Okay, so the next business is somewhere along the lines of legal. As you know, we've been discussing with the town an easement for a part of Lake Street, or actually part of the Shrewsbury Housing Authority land. It's actually a sliver of land. We all had a copy of the plan in our files.
I saw it.
You'll recall that it became a question of whether this should be an easement or whether the town should do a taking, and what are the implications of either or. The concern that we voiced at the last meeting was liability concerns if we grant an easement, because it's for basically a public purpose. It's gonna be for roadway and or sidewalk. So, and I think you have in your packet tonight a comment from someone who took over for Mr. McPartland at DHCD, and I think she has it wrong. So we're gonna have to go back to her, because she's saying that since this appears to be an exclusive easement for the housing authority, that there needs to be a change of wording.
She's responding to Kristen Lass.
Yeah, but this says, as written, the easement for the increased layout is exclusive, meaning that no other individuals, including the housing authority, would be able to use that portion of the property for any reason. Well, that's not true. It's
The
gonna be
easement's
for
for the
town
town.
purposes.
Right, right,
It's
not for
gonna be-
us, it's for the town.
It's gonna be for everyone to use. So, we'll have to get in touch with her, and I will, with your permission, speak with Kristen about this, okay?
Yes.
Since I have a meeting with her tonight anyway, and we'll get to the bottom of this. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll ask her to actually respond to this for us,
Okay.
okay?
So
Yep.
Richard, in the easement deed, it says we're granting it to Selco, not to the town itself. Am I reading that, or is that, in the actual easement, the language, the page below the map?
Yeah.
For good and valuable consideration of less than 100, Shrewsbury Housing Authority grants to Shrewsbury Electric and Cable Operations.
Yeah, that's,
Wouldn't that be wrong in my non-legal opinion?
unless we're granting it for Selco, which again is not clear here.
What I thought from way back from Kristen
is it's the
was
road
road
layout.
and sidewalk, just
Right.
widening of the road. Well, that's
Right.
not Selco.
Correct.
Okay,
Although
so-
Selco would be a part
But
of it.
maybe they
Selco
put
would
poles on it or
probably have
something.
wire rights, right.
Sure, I just wanna make sure, however we do this.
Yeah.
I'm all for being a team player, as I think we all are. I just wanna, however we do it, I wanna do it correctly.
Yep.
Further down, it says 50-foot wide electric easement.
I
So
saw
either
that,
the whole
yeah.
thing's wrong,
Right, right.
or
Right.
there's
Or
something
we're
you don't know
misunderstood,
about it.
yeah,
Right,
or
exactly.
we're wrong, and
Yeah.
they really is a Selco
Yeah.
easement, and it's not.
Well, I think
thought it
there
was
is a
one-
Selco easement
but it-
along Lake Street, but we're not talking about that.
Right, the way Kristen presented it to me 3 months ago was a widening of the road and sidewalk, and they're smoothing the mound on the top, and they're widening the whole thing, and it bumps into the SHA land, to which I said, of course, we'll
It's
work
an
with
effort
you.
to straighten out that nasty corner.
That corner with the height
Right.
and the width, correct.
Right.
And furthermore, do we care that our position, titles have all changed, our positions have changed since
They're
this
all
was
gonna have
first
to,
drafted?
they're all gonna have to change.
Okay.
They-
So
They'll
while
they'll
we're
all
at
have to
it,
change,
yeah.
make a note of that too, okay? All right, so, did this easement deed come with anything with this note, or was this something that you just put in here tonight?
These easement deeds were the communication back and forth
All right, so
Paul
she's not even
McPartland.
looking at the right easement deed then either.
with Paul McPartland and herself.
So-
I'm sorry. We're talking about the easement deeds and just the email, it was attachments with this email.
As part of the Beal School project, part of Lake Street is being straightened out, basically. And
Quite literally.
so, in order to do that, they need to take or we need to grant them a piece of Shrewsbury Housing Authority land, a sliver, in order to do that. for lack of a better way to describe it. So, we're just discussing the problems that we see with the documentation to date. And obviously, there are quite a few problems here. So I'll note that when I talk to Kristen, all right? Kelly, you'll note that the positions need to be correctly identified on the easement document itself, as well as the grantee, okay?
Yes.
That's just intermission, like,
I apologize. Thought I shut it off. I probably shut it off, then turned it back on.
I'm just
Double
making a
check.
note here, okay? Okay, so anybody else have anything else they want to say about this at this stage?
Nope.
Okay, fine. Okay, the pilot payment, we're gonna be making a pilot payment, which is a payment in lieu of taxes to the town of Shrewsbury. This is from the Housing Authority. We make this payment every year, basically in lieu of taxes, because we're not a tax-paying authority. And even though we don't take money from the town of Shrewsbury, we give money to the town of Shrewsbury as part of our obligation to be a good community
Corporate citizen.
citizen. So, are we voting this separately?
Probably.
Or is,
Yes.
Needs its own motion.
all
I
right,
would
so
think, yeah.
if someone could make a motion to approve the pilot payment in the amount,
I make a motion that we approve the 2019 Shrewsbury pilot payment in lieu of taxes, in the amount of $37,000 in $37,026.88.
Second.
any discussion?
I know, but I'll clarify for the record that that's broken out, that's a sum total of Fed and state, of which the state is 1,700 and the Fed is 35,326.88. My motion doesn't change because it was for the total, that was just to add clarity.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous.
I would make a note, Mr. Chair, with your permission, that in the past, frequently, we don't have to, but we've done it, at least a few times. We've delivered this to the selectman in hand. It's usually the treasurer, is that Ms. McSweeney? Yeah, so if you wanted to get it on your calendar to coordinate with, you don't have to, if you wanted to get it on your calendar and coordinate with Kelly or Richard in the past.
Otherwise, I'm gonna deliver it tonight.
Why don't you deliver it tonight, because I'm gonna be away the next time they meet, and
Yep.
why make them wait?
All right,
That's fine, it's just
Yeah.
something we've done in the
Yeah,
past. We
thank
give them a
you.
little update, tell them what's going on. It takes all of 10 minutes. Gail and I did it last year, but yeah, if you're happy to do it, that's fine, okay.
Yep.
Great.
Okay.
Quick and easy tonight.
Okay,
All right,
they have to wait a year for an update.
yes. All right,
If they want an update, we can go back and
Yeah,
get an
they,
update. Happy to do
yeah,
it.
Correct.
we just, it's very
Yeah.
informal profile.
you know what, we just went through an election cycle.
Right, yeah.
If-
They're sick of
if
hearing about
nobody
the
knows
housing
what's going
authority.
on at the housing authority.
They're sick of
They
hearing
haven't
about
been paying
the.
attention,
Right.
so I don't
Yeah.
really think an update is.
Right, that's
in this.
my
Right.
sentiment exactly.
Okay, all right. So now we have bids for two roofing projects, which have been combined in one bid. And as you can see, we have a low bid, which is on the alternate number one, which is $119,000 by the time you're done for the two roofs. I have to say I'm shocked, but then again, I'm not. In the public bidding process, these things seem to get blown way out of proportion. But if you look at the other bids, you can see that there's quite a bit of difference between the bids as well, so.
Kelly, what's the 1, 2, and 3 on this table?
So alternate one is base bid to include work at Holden Street, South Street, excluding all
Gutters.
roof gutters and drain leaders, splash blocks for these two sides as well, excluding. That's cut off, I'm sorry.
So are those additions, those, number 1, 2, and 3, the columns, are they add-ons?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's, so.
And frankly, I would suggest that what we want to do is take the alternate one because the other alternates are ridiculously costly.
Sure.
Do you need a motion?
Except that the alternate two talks about 8 through 18 Parker Road. Can you explain to us what that work would be?
Roofing.
Additional
also.
roofing.
Additional roofing.
And that roofing is in the amount of,
43, well,
in this bid, 38?
$38,250.
Yeah. Okay. And how many roofs is that?
They're duplexes, 2, 3.
3 duplexes or 3?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Buildings.
3 houses.
3 houses,
They're
so 6
duplexes.
units.
Yes.
So I just can't understand how the base bid could be so high and then that alternate could be 38.
Well, isn't the alternate in addition? Isn't it a base? What's the base for?
It's for South Street and Holden Street. Park is not involved.
South Street to the right of Veterans.
Yep.
That's two physical buildings,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
With a shared parking lot.
Yeah.
That-
And I assume
then-
this is both buildings.
Yes.
And then Holman,
Holden.
Holden.
Holden, which is 2 buildings.
Where's Holden?
Holden's
It's down
the
by
high
Worcester
school.
Sand.
Okay. And that's 2
For lack of
physical
a better way
units.
to
That's 2
point it
physical,
out.
2 physical units as well.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean.
So that's 4 units.
two
is what
big
I'm saying.
buildings, yep.
Yeah. So 4 units,
Yeah,
and then an incremental 3 units. Mm-hmm. Okay.
okay. Well, okay, I've made enough comments about it, but my suggestion is I like alternate 1, because I think that the, splash pans and things like that is one thing, but. Anybody have any other questions, comments, discussion? The shed building on 75 South Street, what is that?
A shed.
Just a shed?
Just a
Just-
shed.
Okay.
And,
And one of these guys
That would be
wanted
2,000.
4,700 for that? Okay,
yes.
okay. Okay, so we have a low bid.
Do we need? So I guess Richard, I would ask, and the rest of the board, where are we? What's the? How are the roofs at Parker Road? What's the dire condition of those? Are we saying we don't think we need to do them at this time? If we're saying only add an alternate 1, because alternate 2 is Parker Road.
We're being, I think, directed to take alternate 1
We are.
Oh,
by DHCD.
well then that makes it very simple.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so if we don't agree with that, then we would have to send Kelly back to them to discuss it with them.
Understood.
And I think we want to get the projects
Sure.
going.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Nope. No, thank
All
you.
right, can we have a motion?
Sure. Yeah, you wanna-
Motion to accept alternate 1 of 119,000 to re-roof.
On
probably
WPI
name- yeah, name the
Construction's
bidder.
Yes.
bid.
Yes.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Kelly, what else do we have?
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, it's at this stage that I'm gonna ask, do the board members have any comments they wanna make separate from what we discussed?
A follow-up, it would be technically old business, I guess. We talked about the landscaping, and we left Kelly with a directive. I just followed up with her because I was curious about that.
Good.
I can put words in her mouth, or I can speak for her, or we can tell me if I got it wrong. But I think we ended up going with 2 different parties, both under the bid for 2 different initiatives. Do I have that? Okay, so just the board, we left it kind of open, and so different projects, different amounts, and I thought that was a great resolution. That's all.
And are they happy with that?
Gary has called 3 times. And just waiting on a call back.
From both?
1.
Okay, all right.
The other one is we'll be starting in a week.
Okay.
All right, so what do we do if we don't get the call back from the other one?
Oh, I don't think he needs to keep calling more than 3 times.
I think if there's a default in the ability
I
to
would
get
give
back
it to
to
the
us, then
first
you give
one.
it to the other guy.
Yep.
I think that's reasonable.
I think you have the authority to do that, Kelly. Okay,
Just, I wanted to start, it was a little bit open, so I thought I'd close
all
it.
right, thank you for the follow-up, appreciate it. Okay, at this stage, we'll open it up for residents' comments, questions, discussion. Yes, sir, Marion.
I have 1 or 2 questions, maybe you can answer them for us, because at my meeting, the residents have been talking about the dumpsters here, okay? What's going on is, sometimes when the workers do some work around here, they throw lumber and stuff in these dumpsters. By the time they go to throw trash in them, they can't put it in there. They're suggesting if they could put a dumpster down where the maintenance is, and put their wood and stuff in there, rather than fill these up. That's all we're looking is one more dumpster down where they can put their lumber in. They're filling these up, there's no room to put their trash in.
Well, I think if that's a problem, Kelly, obviously, if we are doing projects and it involves construction materials and we need a dumpster for construction materials, then you can order it, right?
It's more if we're doing, work in an apartment.
Okay,
If another dumpster has been filled up at a different location, yes, we will go to the next one. It's not, I don't believe, and I looked, that it's overfilling where you cannot put your trash in there.
The problem is, when they had some pallets, they put a bunch of them in this dumpster up here, and then when there was furniture and stuff in some of these apartments, they've been breaking them up and putting them in the dumpster, so the residents don't have, there's only 3 dumpsters here. They have no place to put their trash when they put that stuff in, or they're putting it on top and they still can't. They're over full sometimes.
okay, well, I think that, I guess my response as the chair would be that we now know that the executive director is aware of this, and she will hopefully pay closer attention to it, if that's needed. I mean, the bottom line is she doesn't see that there's been a problem, but maybe at this stage she'll look for one if there is an issue.
And the other thing is, some of these residents, if they're not hearing anyone and their families come in here, they're emptying these apartments out and they're throwing box spring and mattress alongside. The people are gonna pick up this trash, they're not gonna pick that up. So it has to be known to these people, they have to put it either on top of the dumpster, because the residents here are getting upset with it. And I have to, address that issue.
Well, Kelly.
Mario is the tenant leader, and Mario, tenants have been going to Mario. The place that we do have empty in the dumpsters, they do take all this stuff.
But they don't allow us to put them in the dumpsters.
Well, what they're doing is they're putting it aside of the dumpster, but they're not gonna pick it up and put it in their truck unless it's inside that dumpster.
Is that true? Is that true?
That's what's happening. Oh, yeah, there was a mattress and box spring up here, they picked up the container, emptied it, that box spring and mattress stayed there. Am I correct, Jerry? You and I helped put it in there.
They just leave it there.
They just leave it there, they don't come out and
Is
take
it
it.
still there?
That got put onto the top, which I didn't even think they'd take it if it was on the top, and they did.
I wouldn't think they would either. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
but they did, they
surprised.
took it, if it's on top, they'll take it, but if it's outside, they're not gonna pick it up and put it in that dumpster.
They don't get out of the truck is just a fork and.
That's it.
But they
Lifting
come
them.
back and they get it. Like,
Well, the next time they come, when it's still there, that's when they, if
Yeah.
they'll put it on the top and then they'll take it.
If it's on top, they take it, if it's outside, they won't take it, they'll stay there until the next week comes.
I know Republic picks up at
Sorry,
the towers.
I'm having trouble with the connection.
If there
Please
is
try.
mattresses and whatever, they still take those. At Elizabeth Street, they have taken those. Have you notified? Like, I know
Yeah.
the tenants have been going to you. Call me. Gary or myself can call Republic.
Okay. All right, just so that's corrected, I'll know where to go with that.
But they
Yep.
did take that mattress.
Yeah, we put it on top,
Yes.
that's how they
But
took
they
it.
did
Yes.
take it, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
But if it's on the side, they didn't, so.
Well, you're right. You shouldn't have to be putting that on the top of the dumpster
Also, you
yourself.
can always call for an incremental pickup in between pickups.
So,
Drivers don't even get out of the truck.
so if that comes, if it happens again, bring it to Kelly's attention and or Gary.
Absolutely,
All right?
yeah.
Okay.
Also, I wanna thank you all, thank you for the mulch and the wheelbarrow and for the residents, and I need a few more bags, that's all.
We need
Thank
more
you.
work.
Thank you for the work.
Thank you very much.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like? Yes, Beth?
I do have a few things.
Bless you.
First one is I want to thank Kelly and the commissioners on behalf of everybody for this air conditioner system.
It is very comfortable in here, I will say.
All melting and
Yeah.
everything. I think that's working out well.
I have a jacket on and the first,
It really
Usually,
it
the summer
works out
meetings in
well.
here are rough.
It makes
Yeah.
a big difference
Yeah.
in here, so thank you. The
long
other-
time coming.
Yes, long time coming. Talking about long time coming, I'm gonna bring up again about the decks. is there any way that the decks might be included? We've got three, 1, 2, and this one over here. They're so wide, the boards are so wide, and they're warped too, that the water, if you're watering plants, it goes right down onto who's ever sitting underneath. There's just, they were never fixed.
They're dried out. The boards are dried out.
They were never fixed, and the other ones that they repaired, that they fixed are all, they abut one another, they're perfect.
Over here, the
Right.
two
Are they under roofs?
enclosures, right?
No, it's all these, the other ones all have the regular decks. It's this one
1 and 2.
where Mario is, and then 1 and 2.
But on the other, opposite of the community room, we're talking about what was done before with the new decks and everything, correct?
Well, they had the new decks put on when they had the overhangs done.
Right.
But the other decks also are in excellent shape. They don't need it. It's those three buildings.
So the two that were done was $70,000 to $100,000. So if we're gonna include these, it's gonna be another formula funding fish project. We have to put it in front of the capital fund.
We basically have to put it on our wish list.
The wish list, okay. And then we're not asking for the overhangs or anything. We're just asking for the floors to be done.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, because they are bad. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, and I brought up a while ago, and now that the weather is nice, everybody's out walking, taking walks, and especially the people with the walkers and canes, the benches have sunk even lower. So if you sit on them, your knees are now where your chin is.
Can you ask our maintenance guys to take a look at that?
Yeah, we have the,
They're
they're very
bad.
low.
That's like
They
somebody
should be able
pulling
to
them
be jacked
down.
up.
Yeah.
They should be able
They
to-
should be
Cemented
jacked.
in.
They're what?
They're cemented?
They sank down in the cement? The cement sank
Really?
in the ground?
Some of them, I'm not sure that the one over by Building 3 has cement.
But
I've
going
never
down
seen-
towards the visitors.
Yes.
I looked at that one.
That's bad.
Even if it is cemented and it's sunk, it should be
You can raise it
broken
up.
up, it should be broken up and re-raised or jacked. I mean,
Or you can pry it up and
right.
and shim it up.
There's
Yeah, right,
four of them,
100%.
I think, there's four, and they can't use them.
That's not a capital project.
Ask Gary if he can
yeah.
look at that.
That's not a capital project. We should be able to fix
The
that.
benches are not, no.
Yeah,
The
that's what I'm
decks
saying.
would be.
The decks,
Agreed.
see, the decks are a capital improvement,
Okay.
okay, so they
Right.
require us to apply to the Commonwealth for help to get them done, because
Okay.
they're very expensive
Okay.
to get repaired. It's like, I was just complaining about the cost of roofs. Well, this is another thing that every time the ones that we've done, we've had to wait for funding,
Okay.
much like we had to wait for funding for
I was
the
gonna
air
say,
conditioning.
this must
Yeah.
be capital too.
It was,
Yes.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah. So we, you watch the meetings, you see us
Yeah.
talk about capital funding and I called it the wish list, but it's actually the
Fish list.
fish list, which is a capital improvements list that we have to prioritize.
Okay.
So
But if the benches are a big thing.
Benches,
Gary should be able to
And then
take a
you
look,
get
yeah.
tired
I
and
think,
it's-
we're hoping that can be dealt with by our maintenance.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
we'll see
Thank
whether
you.
that can happen.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, Mario?
I had to be a pain, but I have one more thing.
That's okay, but you know, I usually limit people to 2 questions.
Go get coffee. Any way possible, we can get some new tables out here, cause these are wrecked. As a matter of fact, I threw one chair away the other day, and you can't really sit in them, and I need a couple umbrellas out here for these people to sit at.
I mean, I think
I wish we could get another table like that black one.
we had that same request.
I think
So you did like the black one.
Yeah.
I ordered the black one from, basically prisoners who we do not have to procure. They build them in the facilities.
Interesting.
We get them from Worcester County House of Correction.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're 11 to 12 weeks out. I wanted to order like 2 more here.
Please
another
do.
one out.
I have no issue with that
They
whatsoever.
will get it,
Yeah.
they will get it next month. I'm sorry, next year.
We're gonna order them.
Yeah, and if we can get a couple umbrellas, it'd be nice. We have them, they're dilapidated, they're worn out and falling apart. It'd be appreciated.
Okay, you can follow up with Kelly on that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
At the end of Building 4, way at the end, there's a walkway, but it's on a very big slant. And it would be nice if you could just put a railing to hang on to when they're going down. Because if they don't have that railing, they have to walk halfway down the building, down that ramp, and then back over to their house, and then around the building to the front door. So it would be nice, especially in the winter, to have a railing to hold on to.
Do you know where that is, Kelly?
The end of building forward, that end.
At
Because
the-
the walkway in the middle has a ramp, I mean, a handrail. That one doesn't, and that's a steeper
Yeah.
walk,
It's just like the handrail that you put over here for building 3.
yeah,
It goes right down and you can see it, and it's perfect.
yeah.
It wasn't a big.
That's the only
Yeah.
one.
I only worry about winter and plowing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
if it's on the outside of the inside of the road or
Kelly,
whatever.
can you look at that?
I will.
All right, maybe, it looks like we're gonna have a few minutes, we could take a walk and take a look at it. So, what else, folks? This is your opportunity.
Well, I have another one. Am I allowed a third? That's the last one I have.
Go ahead.
And they're all talking about it, but they're not bringing it up.
All right,
On, I know you're not pressure washing the things at all, but right at the end of the buildings is where we're talking about, you see like black mold, and that's the only thing that we wanna have done. Is there any way?
Where is it? Your building?
No, it's right here on yours, you walk by it all the time. It's right here at the end, and you can see, if you're going outside, you'll see it.
Do we,
Just this building.
does the SHA own a pressure washer? I would be
Yes.
shocked, I
Yes,
would
we
be
did.
shocked if we
We
don't,
did.
I was gonna say. I could be wrong, I mean, I don't know that I've seen one, but I think, I'd be shocked if we
I know
don't.
we've used one in the past.
Did we rented it? So I would say that would be, raise that up a tick, something for you to look at, talk with Gary. Do we own a pressure washer? Should we? What's the ROI? How often do we pressure wash the buildings? Things like that. Because I thought we talked about this at Elizabeth a few
We may
years
have rented
ago.
them in the past too, I mean.
Yeah,
they're pretty
I mean, I
cheap
know
to
we
rent.
talked about this at Elizabeth years ago,
They're pretty cheap to rent, but Kelly, you'll look into that, right?
but they're also
It's
pretty cheap to
It's
buy.
every building, but it's not a.
I mean, I own one, they're pretty cheap to
That's a
buy.
pretty constant problem for everyone right now. There's been a
Just
tough,
volunteer to
there's been a
pressure
very
No,
wet
no,
spring.
no, no, be very careful there, Ms. McSweeney, about.
Yes, sir.
This is for Kelly. You're gonna get somebody with a front loader, where I am now, that thing is a mess. Number one, when it comes down to plow and just sear, already, you won't have any room for us to park our cars over there, number one, okay? And number two, the cuttings of all the grass is over there, and it's stinking, and I've got it through my bedroom. And I can't even sit on my deck for an hour. If you don't get that thing pushed way back, where you gonna have a problem?
Where is that?
Not sure.
Right here, this
Right
building,
in the back
building
end.
one.
Number one,
I don't know that number. Is this number one?
yeah. If you don't get Kelly, if you don't get a front loader, I'm telling you, you're gonna run into a problem that you won't wish to have. Not only with me, but all the clippings. I don't blame George, he's gonna drop the clippings somewhere. But he's dropping them in my backyard, if you wanna call it that,
We'll take a walk over.
It is your backyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Over
And
the
I'll tell you,
fence.
it
It's by the
smells.
stone wall, at the end of the stone wall.
At the end of the stone wall.
Okay. We have time, folks, to take a
And
quick
you got trees that are growing so
We-
bad back there, it's pathetic.
I
Reminiscent
would
of the-
point out to you that we used to use Buddy Giles for that, if you recall. He used to come in here every once in a while with his backhoe. In fact, he used to park his backhoe here because he was here so often cleaning stuff up like that. So,
So when the guys mowed, where did they just like, had a pile?
that's a good question. That's a good
Okay.
question. That's something maybe you need to investigate a little bit.
Sounds reminiscent of the very old green problem that we had down against that fence where the pile grew up to the side of the fence. Sounds very, very reminiscent of that. Now, that's 15 years ago. Because it's pre my time.
So we're gonna have to look at that.
You better, because I tell you.
Don't worry, we will.
Smell it.
We will. You don't have to bet on me. Don't worry about it. We'll do it.
I know you. But the thing is,
We'll look at it.
Kelly before, like I say, it's so bad, it's pathetic. All right? Sometimes I can't even sit out on my deck.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that.
And I've got trees back here, Kelly, again, where they go, all the droppings, they're growing in between the trees, between all of them.
The smell that you're saying, is it from the grass?
Is it from the mulch?
The grass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're creating a mulch.
Because you're creating a compost.
Compost, that's what I meant, yeah.
I know what you
I
mean.
like to sit out on my deck.
I don't blame you. Okay, thank you.
Pretty soon this is gonna start. Never mind.
All right, so we have a few things. Anybody else?
I'm just speaking for Kathy. I swear. She said the sidewalk over right by her apartment, it's totally uneven.
Is that a newly paved sidewalk?
It's not, no,
Okay.
no, it's not.
I don't want it to fall out.
Yeah, she doesn't want to fall, but it's definitely needs
It's
some
right
help.
across here,
Right,
where the dumpster is.
right, she's in the handicap one, right by the dumpster. So,
You know where that is, Kelly?
Yes.
And you can take a look at that. Okay,
okay, that's it,
good. We'll take a look at it.
that's it.
We have a little walk to take.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the grass and the
all right.
railing.
All right. Well, thank you all for bringing all these things to our attention. Anybody else have anything else they want to say? All right, well, thank you again for having us, and we always appreciate your input and your comments, so
And you try.
don't feel like we don't appreciate it, we do, sir. We'll,
I hope so.
no, well, you know, it's our intention to make sure that this place is well-maintained as are the other places, so it's important for you people to bring these things to our attention, and we appreciate it, so thank you very much, and with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Chair.
to adjourn?
Second.
There you go. Second, look
All
at you.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.